What's up, card fighters? BEOTCG here, and I kind of wanted to do a price update or just like checking out what Fated Clash, what these cards are worth now after pre-release, like basically within a couple days of the set itself being released. And I was interested in doing it for this set, so yeah, let's get cracking into it. See what things are worth now. Have the secret for Varga. Looks like it's going around $600, but no one seems to have more than one copy. The DSR for Raziel, $300. Honestly, for a DSR, that's not really that bad, to be honest. It'd be a price if I wanted to. I guess I would do it. I'd feel a little bit bad about it, but I would do it. But not something that I would want to do right now. The secret rare for Welstra, around $300. There's only one listing right now. Yeah, I still do think these higher rarities are a little bit inflated. I do think higher rarity cards like this should stay around the $100 to $150 range, $200 max per copy, because they're chase cards essentially. But FFRs, I think FFR is like around 100. If they're like main unit FFRs, make sense. Let's look at what the let's get into like the triple rares, because these higher rarity cards are still a little bit inflated, but more or less expected prices. Around $60 for the FFR, not bad. If you wanted to pay that price. Silver rares. Debating on how much the triple rare versions are worth, I would almost say like for more bang for your buck, I would almost say like if you haven't picked these cards up, just pick up the silver rare version for what, like $10 more, or like a little bit more than, or like a little less than $10 more. See, this is triple rare. This is our first triple rare. Biscotti. Biscotti right now is going for around $34. They only have one copy each from these sellers. Is it going to show me more without taking me off of this page? No, it's not. Oh well, we deep dive. 30 to 30. If you wanted to place it from one seller, it'd be 35 a piece. I don't know if you need a playset of this card. I haven't toyed around with any of the Keter stuff yet. I've been mostly focusing on Dark States. I'm a filthy Dark States player. You know me, man. Um, see here. How good is this card, though? Oh, this is the cycler for Keter, so that explains why it's so much, I guess. I don't know. The energy mechanic's really weird because there's besides the trial deck bosses and Welstra, none of the other decks seem to like use energy as like its main mechanic. It's more of like, can you abuse the free energy cards? Yes. Okay. No. Then we're kind of just playing normal Vanguard with like some energy cards. Is how I felt about them. Now I imagine we're still within the first week of this set being released, so I imagine these prices will still fluctuate. Look at this. Varga, it was $30 on pre-release. Now it's gone down to $25, roughly, if you could get 4 copies from this seller right here for the triple rare version. For the cycler, you can get these around $23, it looks like. Yeah, if there's a $10 difference between the triple rare Raziel and the silver rare Raziel, I would almost say, like, just till you can get more bang for your buck is just pick up the silver rare Raziel. Because these are more likely to just diminish over time, like go back down to like $15 or $10 a copy. But right now these are holding steady at like 24 a piece, around 24 a piece. This dropped massively. This was like, what, $40 on pre-release? Now it's even more reasonable. I would say this would be like perfect time. You only need one. Realistically, you only need one. So, you know, I would be happy to pick it up for $20 a copy. Considering there's just like this, such a versatile and good OT. Like, man, I remember on pre-release everybody was like, the red one's the best one, and I was like, I don't know, bro, 100 million crit seems pretty good. And this just proves over time that this one was the better out of the two that came out. But yeah, this price, I would pick it up for this price. I could see this going up. I could also see this possibly going down. Depends on how many people are actually looking for this or not. But this can just go in so many decks. Some more silver rares. Alright, so this is triple rare cycler for Lyrical. I almost want to say I expect this to go down. It looks like going for like $19 a copy. We have one for $16 right here. Yeah, I would almost expect this to go down, but I don't know. Lyrical cards are weird. It depends on whether or not English picks up on how good the FATED one Lyrical deck is. Because apparently it was really good in Japan, but really cheap, because I guess not that many people played it. But it depends on like if this deck picks up or not in English, and Lyrical's just really weird. It's either really good, you'll have like one deck out of Lyrical that'd be like really, really good, and then that deck in itself will be expensive, and then you'll have like a bunch of like okay decks, or like viable decks that are kind of cheap, to be honest, depending on how expensive the generic support is. But this can go up or go down, in my opinion. The one for Dark States, this one's dropped dramatically. I can't think of a Dark States deck right now that can like use this 100% of the time without feeding into its resources, because you can't use this in the trial deck boss. You can't effectively use this in the Dollmaster deck either. So it would have to be one of Darkseid's older decks that probably don't see much play to begin with that you could possibly see this in. But I would imagine this one will just keep going down. There's not that many Darkseid's decks that use her. I believe this is a triple rare specifically for Varga. Yeah, I'd expect this to keep going down just because, in my experience with archetypal support cards, or at least the way I feel like they usually go is, archetypal support cards usually go, even if they're triple rares or double rares, they're usually not that expensive because they're support cards. They're not the main boss unit, and they only work for that one deck or strategy. But it also depends on how good or how popular that deck is. Like if Varga just becomes like a really good topping deck in the West, or becomes very popular in the West, I could see this going up even. I know people were complaining about this guy because apparently this was supposed to be one of the decks that was cheaper to pick up, but right now prices are kind of inflated. He's going for around $15 to $16 a copy right now, and I believe he was like listed for like $2 or $3. Like when the set dropped, or either on pre-release. We'd have to check that back out, but It's a really good deck, in my opinion, so if you find that this price is worth it, there's really not that much expensive cards that you do have to pick up to build this deck. It depends on what you already have, of course, in terms of like triggers, perfect guards, and over triggers. But I still consider this deck relatively cheap and very good for its price point. Welstra, it's another one of those under popular decks in my opinion. I don't see a lot of people picking this guy up. I've heard it's not a bad deck. He's sitting around the $10 range. I'd expect him to go down, honestly. This is the Stoicheia Cycler. Yeah, this is the Stoicheia Cycler. I expect this to go down, very way down. It doesn't matter if there's like a topping Stoicheia deck or not, in my personal opinion. Stoicheia has always been in this rough point to whereas if it either is one of the best decks in the format, like no matter what, it's either one of the best decks in the format and like the really good generic support cards it has like helps that deck, or it's just there it's really middle of the pack with like really good support cards, really good generic support cards, but the archetypes are just not there in terms of competitiveness, which I found throughout the life cycle of D. So I would expect this to go for like $4 even. Seven. I'm not sure if there's any Brantgate decks that could abuse this or want to use this besides the Welstra deck, because I know he makes more energy, but I'm not sure, to be honest. This could either go up or down. I could see I could see Brantgate not being very popular right now in set one meta in general. So I could see this just like when Dimension Police comes out, I could see this price increasing, but I could see this going down at the same time. Some more silver rares. Yeah, this one, I expect this to go for dollars, man. Like, it's not a bad over trigger, but I feel the blue one is just all around way better in my personal opinion. The blue one, you can check it at any point in the game, and it works. Where the red one, if you check it early, it's not as good as if you check the blue one early, in my personal opinion. So I could see this going down to dollars, man. This grade 2, I feel like it's a Raziel support card. Yeah. I expect this to go down. I expect this to go way down from its $10 price point. I expect this to go down. Just because it's a direct support card. You can't put this in any other deck except the Raziel deck. Some more high rarity stuff. This is what I would expect the price for a support card for Varga to be in a double rare slot. Around like, there's only one for $2, and then it goes to like the $4 range. I would expect them to go down to the $2 range, but again, it really depends on how well the deck does tournament-wise and the popularity overall. $4, not bad for the overtrigger. I would expect it to stay around this range. This is a double rare, around $3 to $4. I'd expect it to stay around this price range, because this is the multi-attack enabler of the deck. I expect this to either go down or maintain its price. Just because the Dark States Overtrigger seems to be one of the more least popular overtriggers, because there's not that many decks that can heavy-handedly like it works with what their strategy is trying to do. This I expect to go down just because it's Stoicheia. More SRs, FFRs. This is a double rare, I believe is Raziel specific. Yeah, it's Raziel specific double rare, so I would expect this to go down from its like $3 price range. I would say around the first, like, look, the Chris Drain card, she's like around $2 right now, $2 to $3 right now. I feel like this would be the perfect time to pick her up. She can either maintain this price, or, like I said, if English picks up to how good this deck is, obviously it's gonna skyrocket. But, you know, shoutouts to one of my friends of mine right now. Build this deck while you can, because he's picked up 0 cards from the FATED ones. And he's just, like, kind of scrambling to see, like, what deck can he pick up for the cheap. This is a Blitz-specific card. I expect this to go way down. Again, just based off of its popularity. Random double rare for Persona Ride. Maintain this price or go even lower. I believe this is another Persona Ride double rare. Yeah, this is another Persona Ride double rare. So I expect to either maintain that price or go lower. Maintain that price or go a little bit higher, I would expect. Maintain that price or go a little bit lower just because of its lyrical. Lyrical's generally not that popular. Well, Lyrical's generally not that popular. There are quite a few Lyrical players, actually, but it's not popular tournament-wise. Like, most Lyrical players I know, they will collect and build the Lyrical decks, but they only play super casually, or they just collect the Lyrical cards. They don't play, they don't go to tournaments at all. Or they'll barely go to tournaments. From what I've seen of general Lyrical enjoyers. Like, no bad remarks on that. That's just what it seems to be for me personally. I expect this to go lower. There's just not that many decks that could use this can use this in a well-mannered fashion anymore, so I expect this to go lower and maintain its price range. This is a double rare, I believe it's a Raziel support double rare. No, it's the Persona Ride double rare. So yeah, maintain or even go even lower on that price. If you want to pick up your support FRs and FFRs, pick them up now. They're fairly cheap from what I'm seeing of these prices. And if you wanted just like a cheap deck that can still be competitive, I would just pick up the collab cards in this deck, the MyGo cards. They look like they're maintaining fairly cheap value. Maintain or go lower. This is the Triumph Dragon support grade 3. This is the Persona Ride support grade 1. Maintain or go lower. Support card for Blitz. Maintain or go lower. Is this Chris Drain support? Maintain or go lower. Yeah, Chris Drain support. Maintain or go lower on that girl. Yeah, I don't think the Chris Drain deck is a bad deck. believe this is also a Chris Train support card. Yeah, this is a Chris Train support card. Maintain or go lower. This is the MyGo cards. I expect these to go a little bit higher, but generally keep the same price range. Is this also a Chris Train support card? No, it's a Kyrie support card. So I expect that to stay around the same price or lower, unless Kyrie becomes like a phenomenal deck out of nowhere. Which I think is getting a promo, but again, man, even it would have to be an extremely good lyrical deck, in my personal opinion, just because like lyrical just doesn't, it doesn't in the West, it doesn't see as much play as it should, in my personal opinion, or maybe like I'm talking from just experience of my area, but it doesn't see as much play as it probably should. It's just not popular. I mean, with it being included in the main set, I could see it like picking up, especially since they're not just making them little girls anymore. They're kind of making them like furries, dragons now. Like they're moving away from what lyrical was, and they're kind of like homogenizing it, I guess, just to increase its popularity. Maintain or go lower. I believe this is a Varga card. Or no, this might be, this is a Eugene card. Okay, so that's just gonna tank. It's a Eugene card. I expect this to same around the same price or lower. Like, there's just so many cards in this deck. Not deck. There's so many cards in this set, and there's a lot of good chase money cards, but at the same time, you have a lot of triple rare duds. You have a lot of double rare duds. To like, they're very specific in what they're for, and what they're for just isn't that good right now. This is for the Villaneo deck. If you want to play a cheap deck right now, I would recommend the Villaneo cards. The Villaneo cards seem to still maintain their cheap price point, and I don't think you need too much outside of the initial Villaneo cards. But yeah, I would expect this to stay around the same price range. I believe this is for that one guy. Oh, this is for Magnolia. So, like I said, these really will only skyrocket if, like, Magnolia wins a team tournament out of nowhere, or, like, top 4, everybody had a Magnolia, or, like, etc. for these, like, fringe type cards. This is the Persona Ride supporter that gives a crit. I could see this going up a little bit. It's just not too much commitment to use it. It's just a counterblast. Pitch Night. This is for Alden, man. Why did they put this in here? That'll stay at the same price range or lower, man. Alden's not a good deck. When it first came out, it was a viable, like, rogue strategy in my opinion when it first came out. But now everything's too strong right now, and they didn't give it any way to massively bump up its front row, so your multi-attacks are actually fairly weak without Persona Red. Desire Devil Ox Trees. I thought this was a grade 3 when it was revealed. Apparently it's a grade 2, which makes this way better, because generally Greedon runs way too many grade 3s. But the support cards for Greedon seem to be pushing you towards OG Greedon instead of Mask, which I'm not sure if that's better or not. But I haven't messed around with it yet. That's the deck I'm going to mess around with next. I expect this to go same price or lower. I expect the Cray Elemental triggers to just increase over time, just because of how large this set is. There probably weren't that many pulled, so I expect them to go like into like the $2 to $3 range just for no reason, except for low quantity of cards. Same thing with the energy cards. If you really want it, you only need 10 of them. You only need a maximum of 10. If you really want energy cards, I would pick them up right now for like the 60 to 70 cent range. Pick them up right now. I could just see these keep going up, especially if they don't reprint them in the next Divine Z sets. But I don't think there's too much more to talk about here. I think we're going into the rare range here. The rare and double rare, like the cards that just really don't matter that much. Like, look at this, man. You can pick up a Chris Drain deck for cheap, man. Like, I'm not saying that you can pick up Chris Drain for cheap, and then, like, if you're buying from scratch, you could probably build a cohesive Chris Drain deck with just set 1 cards. But, like, if you wanted to use, like, really good generic cards from Lyrical, then you would have to pay a little bit more. But it's a Highlander deck, so how much more would you actually have to be paying if most of your cards are going to be like 1-ofs or 2-ofs? These PGs I would expect to increase to the dollar range at some point, depending on whether or not how fast they keep just like printing DPGs just to make them accessible. Yeah, we're just like in the territory of cards that really don't matter here. Cards that are going for cents. Just make sure we haven't missed anything key here. Yeah, like, again, guys, if you didn't pick up, like, playset splits of this set, which I don't blame you, because I know some of them are fairly expensive, depending on what you consider expensive, or you didn't get everything you wanted at pre-release, you weren't able to participate in a pre-release, I would recommend just, you know, Volneo, a cheap deck, a little bit more on the expensive side, the Dollmaster deck, because I do know the Critical Trigger, which is getting reprinted fairly soon in the Festival Booster 2024, so I wouldn't worry about that. But the Doll Critical Trigger is very expensive right now. It's going for like $4. But yeah, I would consider Volneo, Chris Drain. I would wait a little bit on Welstra, but I would consider Welstra to go down and be a very cheap deck as well. I don't believe you need too much of the old support cards. It's mostly a brand new deck. But yeah, that's again, we're just going through we're going through the comments at this point, so I think we're just gonna end it here. But again, guys, a couple days after release, this did just get released last Friday. This video will be going up on the Monday, so May 6th. So a couple days after this set got released, I would consider things to, at least the higher value cards will still be fairly expensive. I feel like week 2, things should start settling down into the prices they should be. But I would recommend strongly to get your cards within the first couple weeks of this set, because this feels like one of those booster sets to where is like a month or 2 down the line, these cards are just going to be really hard to get and very, very overpriced. But anyways, guys, this is BOTCG here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on your way out. We're very close to that 1K goal mark. A playmat giveaway, a huge playmat giveaway for our channel banner. Go ahead and check that out once you've hit subscribe and hit that bell notification button. I hope you all have a great night. Later.